Hello and welcome back to Breeze Gaming. Today we have a fun tutorial for you looking at how to set up the initial display screen inside of Pygame. So essentially what we're going to be breaking down is how to initialize and set up and run Pygame and the initial display screen that you'll see whenever you run any kind of game inside of Pygame. So currently I am inside of Jupyter Notebook and I've set up 3 cells for this tutorial. We're going to be importing and initializing Pygame. Then we're going to be setting up our display module the screen will actually be seeing, and then we're going to set up and run a game loop for our screen. Now what the game loop allows us to do is to run a display screen without any crashes or bugs or errors. So this allows our screen to run properly and smoothly. So to start, we're going to import Pygame, but we're also going to import the system as well, or SYS. And then we're going to do pygame.init, which is initialized. So we're going to be importing and initializing Pygame. Boom, there we go. Now that we've initialized Pygame, we are ready to use it. So the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting up our screen. And we're going to use a screen variable, and screen equals pygame.display. And then we're going to do .set mode. Now what set mode is essentially the size of our screen. We are setting up the dimensions that we want our screen to be. Now for my computer, I like 1000, 1000, but you can choose whatever dimensions you would like. All set mode does is set the size of the screen that will be displaying. So next we're going to give our screen a title. So we're going to do pygame.display again, except instead of set mode this time, we're going to do set caption. And caption is essentially the title of our display screen. So I'm just going to call this tutorial game, but you could say whatever you would like. Now I'm going to run this, and now we have set up our display module. We will have a couple more display module elements inside of the game loop, but I'm going to introduce the game loop first. So essentially what the game loop is doing is allowing our display screen to run properly without any crashes. If you try to run just the import and the display module, you'll create a screen, but the screen will crash. It won't function properly. So for our while loop, what we're going to do is we're going to say for event, and for event in Pygame .event.get. Now what this is doing is this is searching our game for any events. So it's saying, are there any events inside of our game loop? That it's looking for events inside of our game loop. However, we're going just for our initial screen. We're going to do this. We're going to be very simple, and we're going to specify even further. And we're going to say if event type. So if our event type equals pygame.quit. So what this is it's pretty much asking our game, are there any quit events inside of our game? And a quit event is just anything that exits out and quits the game. So are there any quit buttons in the game, essentially is what it's asking. And so that's if event.type equals pygame.quit. If that is true, if there's a quit button, and if a quit event occurs, then we're going to first quit out of Pygame, and then we're going to exit out of the system. So the reason we're doing both of these is because first we initialized Pygame, and now we're essentially deconstructing it by saying pygame.quit. And then we imported the system, and we are just closing out of the entire system. So if there is a quit event inside of our game, then we're going to quit Pygame, and then we're going to exit the entire system. Now, since this is just a basic screen, I'm not including any quit events. So essentially, it won't be this if loop won't run, but it's good practice to have it in here anyway. So now we are still inside of our while loop. Still inside of the while loop, we're going to do screen.fill, and we're going to set a color for our screen. What this is doing is filling our screen with the color. You can put what color you would like, but I'm just going to put white. Right now, you may be asking, why are we putting screen.fill down here inside of the game loop instead of up here with the display module where we specify the size and title of our display? And the reason is because by putting this screen.fill inside of the while loop, it's allowing every time the game loop runs, it's redrawing the screen for us. So it's redrawing it every time the game updates, it's redrawing assets, and it's also redrawing our screen color as well. And on the note of updating and refreshing, we're going to do pygame.display, and this time we're going to do update. So at the end of and this goes at the very end of the while loop. At the end of our game loop, we're going to update the entire game and then run the while loop again. And when we update, it refreshes and redraws everything in the game. Now, if you want to be specific, you can specify parameters that you want updated inside of the game. So if you only want certain assets inside of your screen updated, you can specify those parameters here with update. However, if you don't care, you can just do if you're fine with everything being updated, you can do update, or you can do flip. So you can do pygame.display.flip, and flip automatically updates and redraws and refreshes everything. However, if you use update, you can specify the specific parameters of assets you want updated and redrawn. But since we're just doing a simple display screen, we're just going to do update. Now this is our game loop. We have successfully imported and initialized Pygame, we've set up our display module, and now we've set up our game loop and we're ready to roll. So we are ready to run our screen, and I'm going to run that for you right now. So I'm going to exit out of that. I believe that was from before. So what we're going to do is go ahead, and we've already ran this. We've already ran this. Now we're going to run the game. All right. So I think that was from. I'm going to restart and clear output. I'm going to go ahead and run everything. Run all. And boom, we have created our display screen right here. So I've run everything. We did the import initialization, we did our display module, and then we did our game loop, and it has created our display screen for us right here. It set the dimensions I set, and it also is including the caption I set as well, and the white screen fill background. And what's happening is this display screen is constantly being updated, and it's running. There's no crashes. I'm not getting errors, so it has been correctly coded. And that is the display screen. When I exit out of it, since I didn't set any quit events and I just used the X button, it did a system exit right here. But that is all for setting up an initial display screen. So we just had those 3 steps, and that is how you set up a screen inside of Pygame. So I really appreciate you watching this tutorial. I hope you learned something, and I hope to see you next time on Breeze Gaming. Thank you very much, and bye.